I've been practicing ADF now for the last 3 to 4 weeks. Alternate day fasting, alternate day fast. I fast for one day, eat the next, fast for another, eat the next. And I eat whatever I want as long as I track my calories and get my protein in. There are no other restrictions. Good old calorie tracking. This is something that I haven't done in the longest time. It isn't something that I particularly enjoy, but it's something that I do because I am really trying to turn the dials and fast less while still losing body fat and building muscle at the same time. And one of the ways that I have been able to be successful doing this, limiting my calories, doing this calorie tracking, is because I am prioritizing my protein. And let me try to explain this the best way that I can. So currently, I am giving myself around a 2,300, 2,400, maybe a 2,500 calorie limit when I refeed. That is the first priority. But the next priority after that is to make sure that I hit at least 130 grams of protein. Now, that is my number. That could be different for you depending on what your goals are. But for me, 2,500 calories at the most with a 130 gram protein refeed is what I intend to hit. But one of the reasons I do that too is because eating protein gives me more fullness. Eating protein actually burns more calories when it digests, so it has a lot of pros versus just eating 2,500 calories of carbs or 2,500 calories of fat. Because for me, if I hit 2,500 calories and I hit 130 grams of protein, I couldn't care less about what the other macros show. But there's still a lot of mindfulness in the way I eat. If you've watched my past refeed videos, or at least the more recent ones, there is a structure in how I do things. I eat a lot of vegetables, I eat fruits, I eat meat. It's more whole food structured than eating a bunch of ultra processed foods. So there's still a rhythm to what I'm doing. I'm also doing a lot of lower calorie, higher volume foods. Meaning what I'm trying to do right now is finding the bigger bang for my buck when it comes to calories. So instead of eating 500 calories of cashews. You all know how I used to eat cashews, and I would eat the entire tin, and that tin would be 2,000 calories versus eating something like a pound of lean meat and spaghetti sauce or pasta sauce like I did recently, and that's only, what, 1,200, 1,300 calories. Trying to optimize, trying to hack my way into eating more food, eating more volume, but having it less caloric so that I feel fuller, so that I can get through eating less calories, which also means I don't have to fast for 3, 4, 5 days at a time. That doesn't mean that I won't in the future. I always stress this because I know there are gonna be days when I'm gonna go to a buffet and I'm gonna do all you can eat whatever, and I'm gonna have a 6, 7, 8,000 calorie day, maybe even more. But it also doesn't mean that you have to do this. If you want to fast for long, you can. I'm just putting out another tool, another strategy that you can use and see if you can apply it, especially for many of you who are having trouble fasting for 3, 4, 5 days at a time and rolling into another fast. I get it a lot. There are a lot of people who have that issue. And so sometimes if it means scaling back a fast, but then really working on your nutrition, it's something you're gonna have to do anyway, so you might as well take advantage if you're feeling burnt out doing 3-day fasts over and over and over, or 4-day fasts over and over and over. Starting to learn how to use every tool at your availability. Prior to ADF, I was fasting for 3 days, 4 days, or even longer. It's how I quickly lost 80 pounds in less than 5 months and have kept it off ever since. To recently fasting for shorter periods of time. If you want to call 46 hours short, I guess in comparison to what I used to do at 93 hours or short of 4 days. But like I said, fasting for less has given me the opportunity to eat more often while still consistently losing week after week after week off the scale. At 141.8 pounds today, this is the lowest weight I've been in 8 months. So let's look at these nerd stats. I'm gonna look over here because I have these stats laid out. My last 10 ADFs have been averaging 46 hours and 13 minutes. Again, like I said, this is compared to when I first started fasting, and my old refeed or my old fasting times were nearly 4 days. So this is half the time that I'm fasting over the last couple weeks. My last 10 refeeds have been at around 2 hours. This is something that I have been closing the gap on. Before, my refeeds would be 4, 5, 6 hours. And some days they're gonna be longer depending on what I'm doing socially. But when I am on my game and I'm tracking and I'm doing the shit I'm supposed to be doing, instead of keeping my window from 4 to 6 hours, because I told myself, Jerome, you get to eat every other day, just close the gap. And that's what I've been doing. Now these refeeds, ever since I've been tracking, have been coming up to 2,396 calories per refeed. That's about the caloric limit I should be eating every day if I were to maintain my weight. Maybe around 2,200 to 2,300, but because I'm eating every other day means that in reality, even though I'm eating close to 2,400 calories per refeed, that's only every other day. So in actuality, over the last couple weeks, I've only been eating 1,255 calories per day, putting me at a huge caloric deficit. And it shows on the scale. If you also look at the last 26 days, I have been in the 140s. My weight has been so stable. This is a huge plus. This is a huge win for me because for me, I would usually fast 3 days, feel really lean, eat 6,000 calories, then I'd feel really bloated and I couldn't wear the smaller clothes that I typically like to wear. And now, because I'm limiting my calories, the majority of the time I get to wear whatever I want because I'm keeping my weight stable and I'm still continuing to lose weight because I'm putting these ADFs into play. And let's not forget, as I've been doing ADF for the last 3 to 4 weeks, there were those 2 days where I ate back-to-back days, I didn't track my calories, and I got to eat a bunch of food that I typically haven't eaten in these last couple weeks. At the same time, if I were to guess what I ate those 2 days when I ate back-to-back days, my guess is they were somewhere around 4,000 to 5,000 calories. I don't think they were crazy wild refeeds. And a part of that was because I was telling myself, okay, you don't have to eat how you typically do because my brain, my habit of just eating everything was so strong because I knew I was gonna be pushing a long fast. This time around, when I ate Saturday and Sunday, they were planned. I told myself you're gonna eat back-to-back days these days, you're not gonna track calories, but you're gonna be mindful because you're gonna get back into another ADF. You're not gonna fast for 3 days or 4 days on end, you're just gonna fast for 1 day and then eat again the next. And so let's say I ate 5,000 calories back-to-back days. That's 10,000 calories, but if you were to look at the whole, I don't know, last 3.5 weeks or however long that's been, those 10,000 calories don't even make a dent in the calorie deficit that I'm in, which means when you saw me eating those back-to-back days, the weight was still finding its way down. As soon as I got back onto an ADF and practiced what I've been doing for the last week and a half, I'm still continuing to lose weight. I'm still at the lowest weight I've been in 8 months, not doing longer fasts, but doing shorter fasts, controlling my calories, and just having that consistent drop in weight. And like I said before in my past videos, I'm practicing an 80-20 rule here. 80% of the time, I'm tracking my calories. I'm getting my steps in. I am being really mindful about eating well. I am going to the gym to lift weights. But like on those 2 days when I ate back-to-back, that's the 20 rule. 20% of the time, I'm not gonna track calories. I'm not gonna be that mindful when it comes to eating. It doesn't mean I'm just gonna go balls out and eat 20,000 calories over the next 2 days. I still wanna put some mindfulness in what I'm doing, but using that 80-20 rule has given me the opportunity to just say, okay, today's just gonna be more of a chill day. You don't have to work out if you don't want to. You don't have to get a crazy ton of steps in, even though for me, getting around 10 to 12,000 or even 15,000 steps isn't the biggest deal in the world, especially with how often I perform cardio already. But having that 20% rule where I have a few days to just fuck around and do whatever I want and not be so diligent and so strict is freeing for me. It feels good to just chill out for a little bit and not worry so much. And because I've put it into practice now, because I had those 2 days and then I ate whatever I wanted and I got right back into an ADF, and to see the scale still push its way down to the point, like I said, I'm now at my lowest weight in 8 months. I'm like, this is easy. I got this. It's encouraging, it's motivating, it's helpful for me to just keep pushing on with the process. At the same time, it makes me better at working on my diet lever. I don't have to fast as long. I just have to put a little more effort into making sure I eat correctly and I don't go insane and overeat or binge. But let's say I do. Let's say I decide that tonight I'm just gonna eat 12,000 calories. I'm sure I'd put a lot of bloat on. Definitely would. At the same time, I also know that I'm at such a huge caloric deficit that one day of eating that way isn't going to destroy the progress that I've had for the last couple weeks of doing ADF. I know that. I know that when I go to Toronto next week, or 9 days from now, when I go to Toronto, I'm gonna be going out and about for, I think, 5 days when I'm there. I'm going to be overeating. That's gonna be my 20%. Those are the days that I'm not really gonna be tracking, but I'm gonna try to be mindful, especially because I'm gonna be eating 5 days in a row. I wanna make sure that even though I get to eat what I want and eat whatever I want, I can still put my diet lever into play. Everything that I've been doing, all the work I've been putting in, I know I can put it into practice. It's just a matter of always being mindful, not walking away from shit, not starting over, not saying, well, you're on vacation, so just do whatever the fuck you want. I could if I wanted to, but I'm so determined right now to get to 130 pounds. It's not that I am just doing the most aggressive thing, because you all know if I just wanted to get a long fast under my belt and just get right to 130 pounds, I'm sure I could. I'm sure I could just fast and get it down there, but that isn't the route I want to take. I want to make sure that I can lose the weight slowly while still lifting weights, because here's the other thing. It isn't about the number on the scale. I know we obsess about the number on the scale. I obsess about the number on the scale, but it isn't about getting to 130 and being, I don't know, 18% body fat. It's about getting to 130 and being 15% body fat or 13% body fat and just losing excess body fat and building muscle. That is the important part for me. Now that I get to eat every other day, that means I lift every other day. And when I lift, I have the energy to do so. I have the energy to lift even heavier, to perform progressive overload, to really try to build a more aesthetic physique, something that I have never have been able to achieve, because I've literally been morbidly obese pretty much my whole life. And as I slowly push to my goal weight of 130 pounds, I can see the stability of my weight starting to hold. I'm no longer gaining 10 to 15 pounds on the scale after eating back-to-back days, because I'm learning to control my calories, which means I don't always have to fast for 3 or 4 or 5 days just to get the weight down. It's a balancing act of willpower to get through a fast, discipline to make sure I get my steps in, to go to the gym and lift weights, and mindfulness when it comes to tracking my calories and getting my protein in. But even during these last few weeks, there were days I didn't track, I drank beer, I ate cake, even had an Italian beef, because life be lifin'. You gotta give yourself some grace and be okay with getting back on track. Practicing imperfect consistency, doing something consistent, but not always perfect, is how you are going to achieve your weight loss goals. Show up, be accountable, and build better habits. If you're looking for help when it comes to fasting, weight loss, or accountability, you can go to finallyfasting.com and we can talk one-on-one to help you get to your goals. I'll see you in the next one.